Welcome to NG Wheels. The sun hung low over the horizon, casting a molten gold shimmer across the valley floor, when the 2026 Yamaha XT500 rumbled to life. Its single-cylinder thump wasn't just the sound of an engine, it was the echo of a legend reborn. Riders around the world had waited decades for this moment, dreaming of the return of a machine that once defined simplicity, ruggedness, and pure mechanical soul. Now, resurrected with modern engineering and unmistakable retro character, the XT500 stood as a bridge between eras, reverent of its heritage yet boldly built for the future. From the first glance, it looked like a time capsule cracked open, the classic tank shape, the lean frame, the minimalist profile. But the 2026 edition carried a sharper, more deliberate presence. Slim LED strips replaced the old halogen bulb, yet the round headlight silhouette remained. The tank, ribbed with subtle lines, evoked the original sculpted steel but used ultralight alloys. The seat kept its familiar flat style but offered modern comfort in its layered foam structure. Every detail seemed curated to honor the bike's roots without becoming a museum piece. Out on the open trail, the XT500 revealed its true purpose. Its new generation 500cc fuel-injected single delivered smooth, tractable power with that unmistakable thumper heartbeat. Yamaha had tuned it for torque rather than top-end flash, the kind of pull that urged the rider forward with every twist of the throttle. The updated engine managed to feel both old-school and refined, producing a steady, confident surge that made technical climbs feel natural and long stretches of gravel feel alive. The frame, lightweight, durable, and engineered with Yamaha's latest off-road geometry, worked in perfect harmony with the suspension. The front fork absorbed washboard chatter like ripples on water, while the rear shock stayed planted whether carving through sand or floating over ruts. It wasn't a bike that insisted on speed, it encouraged flow, balance, and confidence. That was the magic of the original XT lineage, now amplified through decades of progress. As the rider crested a ridge, the world unfolded like a living map, dunes rolling toward the horizon, a vast sea of ochre-colored earth. The XT500 idled beneath him, steady and warm, as though it too paused to take in the view. Machines like this didn't merely move riders through landscapes, they stitched memories into them. Descending the ridge, the bike's agility became even more apparent. The narrow body made weight shifts effortless. The front wheel tracked cleanly, responding to the smallest input. Yamaha's engineers had nailed the balance between modern handling and classic ride feel. This was not a big adventure bike weighed down with electronics. This was raw, pure motorcycling with just enough modern refinement to enhance, not overshadow, the experience. In tight forest trails, the XT maneuvered like a seasoned trail partner. Its traction control, minimal but intelligent, intervened only when absolutely necessary. Most of the time, the rider was free to command the machine without electronic intrusion. The modest digital display offered only what mattered: speed, gear, fuel, and a small compass ring that seemed perfectly in character. This was a bike built for riders who wanted connection, not distraction. Near a mountain stream, the rider cut the engine and listened as the thumper's final puffs faded into the whisper of flowing water. He dismounted, boots crunching against the river stones. The XT stood quietly behind him, its engine ticking with cool-down clicks. He ran a hand along the tank, feeling the textured paint and sensing the history embedded in the Yamaha badge. This wasn't just a motorcycle, it was a revival of a spirit. As dusk settled, the rider kicked the machine back to life, figuratively, since the rebooted XT came with both electric start and a nostalgic kickstarter. The electric ignition handled everyday convenience, but the kick pedal remained for purists and emergencies, a nod to the rugged versatility that made the original a global icon. Heading into the night, the bike's LED headlight carved a clean path through the darkness. Each flick of the throttle sent a familiar thump through the seat and up the rider's spine. It was rhythmic, comforting, grounding. On the road back toward civilization, the XT transitioned gracefully from dirt to pavement. The engine hummed along smoothly, unbothered by the shift in terrain. Unlike high-performance enduros, the XT500 didn't punish the rider for cruising. It welcomed every kind of riding with a steady, timeless character. Passing through a small town, the bike drew glances, not because it was flashy, but because it radiated authenticity. Amid an industry full of huge adventure bikes, aggressive sport machines, and sleek electric concepts, the XT500 stood apart. It was a reminder of what drew many to motorcycles in the first place: freedom through simplicity, adventure through accessibility, satisfaction through connection. The rider stopped at a roadside tea stall, its glow warm against the night sky. He sipped slowly, the XT resting a few meters away, silhouetted under a street lamp. Even still, it looked ready to explore. Dust clung to its tires, flecks of mud dotted its side panels, and the engine's faint warmth hinted at the miles it had just conquered. A few locals approached to inspect it, pointing at the retro styling and recognizing the heritage in its design. Machines like this didn't just transport people, they sparked conversations, memories, stories. Back on the highway, the XT felt perfectly content cruising at a relaxed pace. The wind brushed against the rider's jacket. The stars shimmered overhead. The thumper thrummed beneath him like a heartbeat syncing with the rhythm of the open road. The bike didn't demand speed, it rewarded presence. It made every kilometer meaningful. As he neared home, the rider realized something profound. Yamaha hadn't just revived the XT500, they had resurrected an idea. An idea that adventure doesn't require excess. That connection to the road begins with the machine, not the menu of electronics. That motorcycling's soul lives in torque-rich engines, unfiltered sensations, and machines built to outlast trends. The 2026 Yamaha XT500 was more than a motorcycle. It was a legend reimagined. A tribute to the past. A companion for the present. A promise for the future.